welcome to Baking with Janet, first of many I hope, and hopefully we'll have some guests along the way. So watch out, those who know me, because I'll be asking you to join. Okay, we're starting off, this is a batch bake, a rubbed in batch bake, so we're making a variety of things, starting off with cheese scones. So I'll show you the process, and then all the rest, it's the same process, only you add different ingredients. Okay, so in here we've got 100 grams, 4 ounces of SR flour and 1 ounce, 25 grams of block margarine. It's important when you're doing rubbed in method to use block because then you get a better crumb. So you're rubbing in, as the name suggests, you rub in, so it's rubbing the marge into the flour using your fingertips, lifting as you go, so you're trapping air, and you're aiming for a fine breadcrumb. And if you were making sweet scones, as we're going to do a little bit later on, you'd add sugar as well to this basic mixture. You can do this in a food processor. If you're like me, you don't like breadcrumbs under your fingernails, you can use a food processor to do it as well. So once you've got your fine breadcrumbs, you can add the other ingredients. So if you make I'll add the cheese, as we're making cheese scones. So to this mixture, 50 grams of grated cheese. You can put cayenne pepper in there if you wish. You can put spring onion, chopped finely chopped spring onion. You can put dried mustard. So mix that in, make a well in the centre, and we've got egg and milk. You can just use milk. You can use yoghurt. I've been looking up recipes. And there's a cheese scone with just 3 ingredients: flour, cheese and a carton of plain yoghurt. Apparently they make very nice light scones. So add liquid and use your fork or your palette knife, whichever you choose. For most of the mixing, try not to get your hands in too soon, because it'll make a tough dough and your scones won't be light and fluffy, they'll be like leather. So once you've got most of the ingredients together, in very lightly with your hands to pick up the rest of the ingredients. And then out onto table or a board, a little bit of flour, and I mean a little bit, so otherwise you're altering the proportions. And to this, we need to just knead it very lightly, because if we're to cut it straight away, once these are baked, those cracks are going to multiply, and you'll end up with craters on top of your scones. So a bit like bread kneading, but very lightly. Make it so that it's nice and smooth on the top. So turn over. And if you've made a good scone, you don't need a rolling pin. You can just use your fingers. And today I'm going to do something, because the more you handle scone mixture, pastry, short crust pastry, the tougher it becomes. So in order to avoid wastage, because if you were to use a biscuit cutter, if you were to use a biscuit cutter, you're going to have waste. Every time you put a circle in, you've got waste there, and you're re-rolling and it becomes tougher. So to avoid that, I'm going to cut them into oblongs. And to that, put them on the tray, spread them out a little bit, and then with your egg and milk, we'll just add a bit of wash on the top, and put a little bit of grated cheese on top. So I've got some extras, might need to grate a bit more, which means I might cut my finger again. They're lethal are these graters, you need to be careful. So a little bit of cheese on top. And then into a hot oven. The oven's been on. So you want it on at least 200 degrees C. If it's a fan oven, you could do a little bit less. Because you need to get that rise as quickly as you can, and it's set in its risen position. So they're going into hot oven for about 15 minutes. So next one we're doing is, I'm doing an 8-ounce mixture. It's all been rubbed in just exactly as I did with the cheese scones. This time we've got sugar in, and we're making a cobbler, fruit cobbler and a fruit whirligig. Some of you may not have heard of fruit whirligig. It's something I used to make at school with the children. And I used to do a savoury version as well, which apparently some of my ex-pupils are still making now with their families. So that's really good. So 8 ounces of SR flour, 2 ounces of block marge, 2 ounces of sugar, and to that we're just going to add the liquid, so we bring it to a dough. Again, same principle. Try not to handle it too much. Sorry, I'm scraping the bottom of the bowl here. Sorry if it's coming across really loud on you. So get as much as you can mixed in before you get your hands in, and that's, I think, quite a lot of dry ingredients, so I'm going to add a little bit more milk and egg to that. So if you were doing an 8-ounce mixture, you were just doing one mixture at home, 1 egg and a little bit of milk would be fine, so that you're not having to sort of guess. Don't be making pints and pints of egg and milk. 1 egg and a little bit of milk would be perfect. So this mixture is going to do the two, the cobbler and the whirligig. You can do plain scones with this for jam and cream as well. That'll do for me whirligig, this will do for me scones. A little bit of flour. Again, need... Sorry, when I used to do a demonstration at school, all the front row used to get splattered with my cooking. So they learned to sit on the back row. Again, pat out. Now, if I was making scones, I'd make this a little bit thicker, probably half as much again. But as this is for a cobbler, you don't need it just as thick. And I think I'm going to use that one. Cut straight up and down. You don't need to turn it. Those will come out. Try and get as close as you can to the last one you cut out, so that you're getting, those will be the best. These will be a little bit tougher. So try and get as many as you can out of that first rolling. Will I get another one out? I might do, I'll cheat a bit. And so this is just stewed apple from Brian Oliver and Francis Oliver's apple trees. Gave me before the lockdown loads and loads of apples for the community lunch, and they were all really tiny ones this year, so it took me forever, but I was very grateful. They make it, their apples make smashing stewed apples. So you can re-roll this. I'll just check my scones. Oh, they're coming along nicely. Let's have a look. Oh, look at them. Put these on the end. Asbestos fingers. There we go. So just re-roll again as light as you can. Make it. Well, I only need one. So. That's your cobbler. Like I said, we used to do this when I was teaching at school. A savoury one like this, beef and bean cobbler, which is just the base of a shepherd's pie with a tin of baked beans added, and then put a plain scone. So you can put mixed herbs into and do exactly the same. So again, just milk the top of your scones, and I'll put these two in together, I think, and then that's the cobbler. This one's the whirligig. And this one we're passing out quite thinly. I want it in a rectangle. So you could use your rolling pin for this one. It will work just patting it out. And then to that we're going to spread some jam. Could use marmalade, I suppose, if you wanted to. You could put dried fruit in, I suppose, but milk it first if you're going to put dried fruit in. And then jam. Spread as far as you can on the narrow edges and leave a gap on the long edges, because you don't want bits at this end, the either end, to be without jam really, but you need a little bit of room to stick it. So jam, just a little bit of egg and milk, and then you're rolling it up like a Swiss roll. So once you get started, it works it just takes care of itself really. And then seal it on the bit that you put your egg and milk on, and then all you're doing is cutting that into slices. So then using a sharp knife, a cutting action, not a pressing action, because if you press it, you squash it all. So a cutting action. Leave a gap between each, because hopefully they're going to rise. I'll get another one in there, might do. Okay, they're going into the oven now, same temperature. Again, like 15-20 minutes and they should be done. Get them both on the same shelf. Okay, we're on to rock buns. So we've got the 4-ounce mixture again. This time I've added 50 grams of sultanas to the mix. So again, same mixture. But with rock buns, you need a little bit softer mixture than you do for the scones and raspberry buns. We're making raspberry buns next. That's a little bit stiffer dough, a bit like your scone mixture. But this one's a little bit softer because you're going to spoon this out. And the idea is for it to look like rocks. Going to take a little bit more liquid. Okie dokie, with that. Okay. And this, all you're going to do is take a spoonful, pop it onto your tray. You don't have to take care about it, just bob it on. Oops, escape bit. You should get 6, 5 or 6. Made that one a bit big, never mind. I'll take a bit of that one. Pinch a bit off that one. And make a, that's for the that's for the maker, little tester. There you go, into the oven. Try and get these out before they burn, and they're okay at the minute. Okay. So we're on raspberry buns now, 4-ounce mixture. And this one we want to be like a scone dough. Just going back to scones. If you haven't got a biscuit cutter, you can use a tumbler to cut out your circles, or if you want to avoid waste, and use all of your dough on the first rolling, then you can shape into a circle and just mark it into a 6 or 8 scones, triangles. You can make square scones. A lot of the extra special scones in supermarkets are square oblong scones, and it avoids the wastage. So you've got your dough, similar to the scone dough, and this one you're just going to shape into, you'll all remember this from your junior school, infant school days. Shape it into a sausage, and then cut. I'll probably get 6 out of here, so in half, and then each half into thirds. Roll it into a ball. We've got our 6 balls of raspberry bun dough on the tray, and now you can either, if you want to, use the end of a wooden spoon dipped in flour into the mix with your finger, as long as it's clean. Put a dent in the top, don't go straight through because otherwise the jam will stick to the tray. So just put a hole in the top And to that, add a little bit of jam. Now don't go overboard with your jam, because otherwise you'll find this might do it, but certainly if you put too much in, it'll ooze all over the raspberry bun. Not that it's not that nice to eat, but it doesn't look too nice. So just a little bit of jam in each one. Too much on that one. And then they're in the oven. Well, that's it for today. Look forward to seeing you again next month. Hope you enjoy, hope you try out the recipes. Watch this space. There will be guests. Thank you.